Hey everyone, welcome back for another deep dive. And this one is going to be pretty fascinating. We're going to be talking about a place. Uh, it's called Kuldhara,
Mm-hmm.
and it's in India. It's this village that was completely abandoned
Right.
centuries ago, and to this day, nobody knows exactly why.
Yeah, it's quite a story.
So let me just set the stage a little bit for everybody. Imagine you're in the middle of this
Okay.
vast desert
Yeah.
in the Rajasthan desert in India,
Yeah.
like miles and miles of sand dunes. And you come across this village, completely deserted, crumbling buildings,
Yeah.
empty streets, and just this heavy silence.
Yeah.
It's like something out of a movie.
Yeah, I can only imagine.
So that's Kuldhara. That's
Yeah.
where we're going today. And with me to help sort of unravel this mystery
Okay.
is an expert who has researched this place
Happy to be here.
and has some insights into maybe what happened.
Yeah, we'll see if we can
Yeah.
we'll see if we can figure it out.
So before we get into
Oh.
the spooky
Yeah.
and the ghost stories, let's rewind a little bit.
Okay, yeah.
And talk about what Kuldhara was like before it became a ghost town.
Yeah, so Kuldhara wasn't always abandoned. It was once a really prosperous village,
Okay.
home to a community of Paliwal Brahmins, and they were known for their intelligence, their agricultural skills,
Mm.
and they had this really peaceful nature.
So they were able to turn this harsh desert environment
Exact.
to a
Yeah, they were really skilled at agriculture. They developed these innovative irrigation techniques,
wow.
and they really turned the desert into a productive oasis. And it was said that Kuldhara was like a model village, a
Wow.
place of harmony and prosperity.
That's so interesting because like you said, it's in the middle of the desert.
I know, right?
So you would think that it would be a really difficult place to thrive.
Yeah, it's a testament to their skill and ingenuity,
Yeah.
to be able to create that kind of community in such a challenging environment.
Yeah. So what happened? What changed?
Well, that's where the story takes a bit of a turn.
Okay.
Enters Salim Singh, the Prime Minister of Jaisalmer.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Here we go.
He wasn't exactly known for being a benevolent ruler. He had a reputation for being ruthless, greedy, and power-hungry. And his actions are really what set in motion the events that led to Kuldhara's abandonment.
Okay. So I've heard a little bit about this. There's this story about Salim Singh
Right.
and a young woman and a forced marriage or something.
Yeah, so it said that Salim Singh became infatuated
Okay.
with the village headman's beautiful daughter,
Okay.
and he demanded her hand in marriage.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's a pretty audacious demand. And to make matters worse, he threatened the villagers with severe consequences if they refused.
Oh, God.
So it wasn't just this, personal whim.
Right.
It was this abuse of power
Yeah.
that really put the villagers in an impossible position.
So what do they do? What options do they even have at that point?
I mean, can you imagine being in that situation? To surrender your daughter to this tyrant
Right.
or to risk the destruction of your entire community. It must have been just a terrifying dilemma.
Yeah, I can't even imagine. So what do they do?
Well, the Paliwal Brahmins, they were known for their strong sense of justice
Mm-hmm.
and their dignity, and they refused to bow to Salim Singh's demands. So they decided to do something that I think was pretty unprecedented.
What was that?
They decided to abandon Kuldhara entirely.
Wow.
Yeah, they chose to leave everything behind. Their homes, their fields, their entire lives.
A whole village just packed up and left.
And not just Kuldhara, actually.
Okay.
It said that over 80 villages
Yeah.
linked to the Paliwal Brahmins
Wow.
vanished overnight.
That's incredible.
It was this mass exodus under the cover of darkness.
So that must have taken so much courage and desperation
Yeah,
to
it
just
was-
leave everything behind.
You can only imagine the kind of planning and coordination that
Oh.
would have taken to pull off something like that.
Yeah. And to keep it a secret. From Salim Singh.
Right?
So did they just disappear into thin air? Where did they go?
Well, that's part of the mystery. Nobody knows for sure where they went. There are some theories that they migrated to other parts of Rajasthan
Mhm.
or even to neighboring states, but their exact whereabouts remain unknown. It's like they just vanished into the desert.
So they left no trace, no clues.
Well, they left behind their village, which
Right.
is a pretty significant trace.
Okay, yeah.
But in terms of written records or accounts of where they went,
Right.
those are really scarce. So it adds to the mystery.
So what about this curse? I've heard that Kuldhara is cursed.
Right. Yeah, that's a big part of the legend. It's said that before leaving, the Paliwal Brahmins cursed Kuldhara.
Okay.
They vowed that nobody would ever be able to inhabit the village again.
Hmm.
And whether you believe in curses or not, it's hard to ignore the fact that for centuries,
Right.
Kuldhara has remained abandoned.
Yeah, and it's not like it's in like a prime location. It's in the middle of the desert.
Yeah. Exactly. It's not exactly a desirable place to live.
Yeah, but still, you'd think that somebody would have tried to resettle it at some point,
You would think so.
but nobody has. So
Yeah.
maybe there is something to that curse.
Well, it's possible. I mean, there are stories of people trying to live there
Oh, really?
and experiencing all sorts of misfortunes. So maybe there's some truth to the legend.
Okay, so let's fast forward to today. Kuldhara is now a tourist destination.
It is, yeah.
People go there to like explore the ruins
Mm.
and maybe even experience some of this paranormal activity.
Right. It's become a popular spot for people interested in the paranormal, and it's also a protected archaeological site.
Oh, okay.
So there are efforts to preserve the ruins and to learn more about the history of Kuldhara.
So what's it like to visit Kuldhara today?
Well, it's a pretty eerie experience. Imagine walking through these deserted streets lined with the crumbling remains of houses and temples. You know, you can still see the outlines of rooms, doorways, and courtyards. And there's this heavy silence hanging in the air. It's easy to see how the stories of the curse took hold.
Yeah, it sounds like a place where your imagination could really run wild.
Yeah,
But,
definitely.
so what about the ghost stories? Are those just embellishments, or is there something more to it?
Well, there are countless reports of paranormal activity at Kuldhara.
Oh, really?
Yeah, visitors and locals alike. They describe all sorts of strange experiences,
Like what?
like hearing strange sounds,
Okay.
seeing shadowy figures, feeling sudden cold breezes, even in the desert heat.
Wow.
Some people even claim to have seen apparitions.
Apparitions?
Yeah, like full-bodied ghosts, and others have felt unseen presences.
That's creepy.
Yeah, it's definitely a place that can send chills down your spine.
So how do we know
Right.
what's real and what's just legend?
That's the challenge, isn't it? With a place like Kuldhara, it's hard to separate fact from fiction, especially after centuries of storytelling and embellishment.
Right.
But I think that's part of what makes this story so enduring. It's this blend of history, mystery, and human resilience.
And, it's not just about
Mm.
a village disappearing. It's about a community standing up to tyranny in the most dramatic way imaginable.
Yeah. They chase freedom over oppression, even if it meant sacrificing everything they knew. And even though they vanished into the night, their story still speaks to us centuries later.
So for you, what do you think it is about Kuldhara that continues to fascinate people?
Well, I think it's a reminder that there are still mysteries in the world, things we may never fully understand, and it's a place that really makes you think about the power of belief
Mm-hmm.
and the weight of history.
Yeah, it really makes you wonder, could there be a rational explanation for everything that happened at Kuldhara? Or does this place hold secrets that defy our understanding?
Maybe the answer lies somewhere in those ruins, waiting to be discovered.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's lost to the sands of time.
Well, either way, Kuldhara is definitely a place that captures the imagination
Mm-hmm.
and leaves you with a lot of questions.
It certainly does.
So if you're ever in India and you're looking for an adventure, consider a trip to Kuldhara. Just be sure to bring a flashlight.
And maybe a ghost detector.
And maybe a ghost detector. You never know what you might find. All right, thanks for listening, everybody. And until next time, keep exploring.